Hello, and welcome to the Investor Guys Podcast, the ultimate podcast for serious real estate investors in the know. Join your host, Bill Barnett and Kevin Mills, as they share their expert insights, strategies, and tips to help you succeed in the world of real estate investing. Get ready to level up your investment game with the Investor Guys Podcast. And now, here are your hosts, Bill Barnett and Kevin Mills.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
It is excellent, my friend. You doing well today?
I am doing great today. I am excited about Cleveland. I added a couple of extra features to the event that we've got coming up. I was chatting with you real quick about that just before we got on the air. But first, welcome to the Investor Guys Podcast. I'm Kevin Mills. This is Bill Barnett. We were just chatting before we went on air about our upcoming real estate buyers event in Cleveland. And one of the things that we have done is added a video conferencing feature in our website. And as we are leading up to getting to Cleveland with the real estate buyers event, we're going to be doing just conferences here and there with the participants to make sure that they're getting everything they need together in their toolkit. But we want to talk about that today in our show as well, because it's relevant not just for Cleveland, it's relevant for pretty much any area that you're going to go into to invest in. There's going to be some specifics that we're going to talk about for Cleveland, but the types of things that you need to be prepared when you're going into a market to start investing. Looks like you had something you wanted to say, Bill.
Yeah, the first thing is always money. You know, whether it's a foreign market or whether it's the market you're doing business in now, whether you're brand new, whether you're seasoned, money's always the first thing you want to have lined up. I always teach all my folks when I consult with them, money and offers, that's the business, money and offers. But when you start looking at, I'm going into another market, I got to have some money lined up to do that, or I've got to get lined up for the market that I'm in now. Well, you can start interviewing hard money lenders. Now, look, I have a guy that I love dearly. He's a consulting client, been with me for 12 years, and I had to get on his butt the other day. I talked to him Friday, and he said, man, I've got this lender I want you to talk to. I think he's terrific. He's going to be great for us, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, tell me a little bit about him. He started telling me about him, and I said, dude, literally, dude, he's a freaking mortgage broker. Oh, no, this guy really works with investors. And I said, it's a script. The minute they get their mortgage license, they hand it to them that says, oh, yeah, we can do things for investors that nobody else can do. We love working with investors, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no. And I said, okay, get him on the phone. I said, but I promise you this, the first hint of bullshit that I smell, I'm blasting the guy. And that blood's going to be on you. So just remember that. And he's like, oh, Bill. I'm like, no, I'm trying to train you how to talk to people right, how to understand who can and who can't. So let's get him on the phone. So we get this guy on the phone, and I said, tell me a little bit what you do. You know, oh, we do blah, 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 blah. And it's stuff that Kevin and I have heard 1,000 times each, easy. And I said, so you're just a mortgage broker? He goes, well, we're not just a mortgage broker. We can do this. And I said, okay, so can you do anything better for me than 20% down and either giving me full purchase and rehab with 20%? Can you do anything better than that? Well, I'm not sure that we can do that. You know, most people don't do that. I said, in other words, you're just a dude. I said, I was trying to tell my friend this when we got on the phone, that no offense to you, you sound like a nice guy. However, there's 10,000 of you guys just in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And this is a guy he had called out of town. And I'm like, there's no point in talking to people like this, mortgage brokers, unless you have impeccable, spotless credit, which means you're not doing any business, by the way, because we had to have this conversation with another person in the last couple of weeks. She's carrying a 760 credit score. And she said, my credit score is the most important thing in my business life. And I said, then you're in the wrong business. What? So you can't buy a lot of property and have a credit score stay high, because it's going to show up on your personal credit until your LLCs or your corporation or C Corps get enough history themselves so they can stand by themselves. Prior to that, it's going to be on your Social Security number. And even if it's in an LLC, they're still going to look to you to be the proof in the pudding, if you will, especially on any kind of single family, 1 to 4. And so when that happens, your debt to income ratio is going to get way out of whack real quick, and that's going to pull your credit score down. So you have to decide what's more important for me, to have great assets, great income, or great credit score, because in our game, you're not likely to have both. So that was one thing. So the guy was basically back to the mortgage broker. He's like, you know, we can do this, this, and this. I'm like, you're not telling me anything new. I can get that 10,000 different places. What is specific? Do you do anything privately? No, we don't do anything privately. Okay, if you can't do better than 20% down, and that includes purchase and rehab, no offense, you know, you don't have anything to offer. And my buddy was in shock. He was like, I can't believe you talked to that guy this way. I'm like, dude, I don't have time to waste. I could have that conversation all day, every day for the rest of my life. I don't have time for that. Neither do you if you're going to be building a business. So what you need to do is, if you want to talk to somebody about lending, talk to hard money lenders, talk to private money. Those are people that can actually do you good. When you start talking to when you start talking to hard money lenders, just keep you a little a pad or Excel spreadsheet, whatever. Here's what this guy offers. And once they know you're an investor, they can get to you quickly, like, hey, jump to the bottom line real quick and tell me what's the best thing you have and what that means to me. And they're quickly going to tell you, we require the best product we have. Sorry.
No worries. We're ready to go into a break. So let's go ahead and take that break, and we'll be right back in just a second.
Thank you for watching the Investor Guys podcast.
The Investor Guys podcast will be back shortly.
Absolution X, limited editions, lifestyle apparel like none other. Get yours today at absolutionx.com.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with Cayman K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire Cayman K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at caymank.com.
Awaken your potential and harness the strengths of your inner self. Online courses that you complete at your own pace. Set and achieve all of your goals. Packed with an ever-growing catalog of information, resources, learning programs, weekly recorded coaching sessions, podcast, posts and more to keep you on track for your best life. Because the only person who can guarantee your success is you. www.reallyKevin.com.
Back with the Investor Guys podcast, and Bill was talking about money just before we left, and really here's the best thing. Your measuring stick for money is the better your lender, the person giving you the money, is able to think outside of the box. The better they're able to look at numbers and know what the numbers actually mean for an investor and for a return, the better lender, the better money partner that person is going to be.
And I'm going to tell you a few quick things, and I'll hop off the hard money lenders. And I love hard money lenders, by the way. But if you'll just ask them some basic questions, you'll get to a point very quickly. Is this somebody that's going to be beneficial to me? And look, the easiest way to find hard money lenders that perform is through your real estate investment club, because that's where they go to search out folks like us. So if I'm just calling off the internet, and look, if you search hard money lenders in your city, you're going to find a gigantic list. And then a lot of times they'll tell you right there on their website what their best program is, and that's always what I'm looking for. So I want to know what program has the minimum required down payment. What is the LTV on that? What's the loan to value? Are you doing that based on after repaired value or on current value? Yeah, that's a hugely important question. So they may say the best program that we have is a 70% program. So you got to put down 30%. but they're doing it on the after repaired value, and they're doing it of purchase and rehab. Well, that's a better program than somebody that's doing an 80% or 20% down payment program, an 80% loan, but they're only doing it on purchase, or they're only doing it on rehab, or they're doing it at current price, not at ARV. So those are the kind of things I'm looking for. What are you basing your money on? Is that after repaired value? Is it current value? A lot of times after repaired, you'll hear me refer to that as a contingency value, contingent on what you do to the property. So I want to know that. I want to know what the minimum down payments are. I want to know, do they have any points? If so, what are they? What are the rates? And a very important question is, do your rates slide with my level of expertise? So for those of you who've been around a little bit, have done, even if you've just done 4 or 5 deals, for a lot of lenders, they look at you completely different than somebody that's brand spanking new, somebody that's not done a deal yet. I'm telling you, you're going to pay more money for that. Okay. But after you've done a couple of deals, that number starts to slide down, and the more deals you do, the lower the interest rate gets, because they have confidence that you know what you can do. So if you'll ask those questions, that'll keep you on track for finding money correctly, quickly, and also ask them, what's the typical turnaround time? When I get you a property to you that I've gotten a contract accepted on, how quickly are we looking at funding? And do they have any limitations on funding? A lot of people miss a point in, especially when you were looking at things like what we're looking at in Cleveland. You have to find out, does your lender have a minimum? They all do, but what is that minimum? Well, if they have an $80,000 minimum, a lot of the things that Kevin and I do in Cleveland doesn't fit for that. So you need to ask them, what's the minimum? And that'll change a little bit from market to market, but do they have one? Yes. And look, you may think, well, I only need 50. They're going to like that even better. No, they don't. It costs them the same amount of money to make a $50,000 loan as it cost to make a $150,000 loan. And so they set minimums based on, hey, I got a certain amount of overhead and a certain amount of profit that I want to make. I know I've got to have a loan of at least this size. So there's some quick questions for you. Get your money lined up. You got your money squared away, you're going to be a significantly greater likelihood of being a successful investor.
Yeah. One real quick thing while he's talking about the minimums is, we're looking at price points in Cleveland that a lot of people can literally go and get a signature loan for. You could literally get a signature loan for $50,000 to purchase a house, or to put down payment on 5 different houses. So we're talking about low price numbers. And yeah, a lot of lenders, they're not interested in that. Another thing I want to point out really quick and move on to the next topic is, hard money lenders looking at 3 different things on your purchase price. They're looking at the purchase price. Sorry about that. Looking at the purchase price, they're looking at the current appraised value, and they're looking at the after repair value. So a lot of times they will give you a loan based upon the purchase price, but not the appraised value, or not the after repair value, or they'll give it to you on the current appraised value, which could be more than what you're paying for the property, or they'll give it to you total minus your down payment, whatever that is that they have, on the after repair value. So those things are all things that you need to consider. The other big thing in the toolbox, aside from money, is a team. You absolutely positively have to have a team on the ground, whether you're investing in the market that you're in or another market. And team members for me include a real estate agent who is able to go out, find properties for me. They're motivated. They're not hungry, but they're motivated. They're giving me their honest opinions, and I trust their opinions. A property manager, whether I live in the market or whether I am investing in a foreign market, I don't manage my own property. So for me, a property manager is very, very important. Also, a money person who has familiarity with the market where I'm going to be investing. That's a team member that kind of falls under money, but also same type of thing. I want them to specifically be familiar with the market where I'm going to be investing. And then contractors. I need contractors, handymen, that type of thing. And I, a lot of times, can defer to my property manager on that, because they deal with contractors and they deal with handymen all the time. So if I don't have somebody in the market, I'm happy to ask them for a referral. Sometimes I trust my property manager enough to let them just do what they want to do. Other times, if I've got a bigger project, I will call them, I'll ask them, and I'll do a couple of interviews with some of the people who they refer. So finding a team is not that difficult. One of the things that we're going to do in Cleveland is we're going to introduce you to those professionals on the ground in Cleveland already. In fact, we're going to introduce you to a handful of different people. You don't have to use them. We're going to show you what you need to look for as far as team members. You can use the people who we introduce you to, or you can go out and find your own. But you're going to literally have all the resources that you need while you are there. We're going to introduce you to those people. We're coming up on a break, so let's take that break real quick. This show's flying really fast. I know because Bill has something he wants to do. He's excited about that. I will be back with Bill in just a minute.
You are watching the Investor Guys podcast.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with Cayman K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire Cayman K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at CaymanK.com.
Absolution X. Lifestyle apparel like no other. Limited editions. Unique, exclusive designs. Seek your absolution. Get yours. Only at absolutionx.com.
ReallyKevin.com. Weekly recorded coaching sessions. Learn, grow, find resources, opportunities and more. You'll find it all at ReallyKevin.com.
All right, and we are here back with Bill Barnett and myself, Kevin Mills, on the Investor Guys podcast. And we were just talking about things you need to have in your toolkit whenever you go into a foreign market to invest in. Foreign market is a market where you don't live, outside of where you live. And we're doing this as kind of a build up to Cleveland because Bill and I are both headed to Cleveland in November for the last real estate buyers event of 2020. What, in your opinion, do you think we need to add to that toolkit?
You know, one of the things we talked about real estate agents, whether you are wherever you're dealing with an agent, and do I think you should deal with agents? Yes, 97% of all property in America is sold through the MLS. So don't cut off the biggest supply chain you have because, I don't want to deal with an agent. So when you look at an agent, Kevin said something, I want to make sure they're not hungry. Now, it's a crucial, important point. And I wanted to delve into that just for a little bit, because if you get somebody that's new, they're going to be pushing you. And if you're new, quite frankly, neither one of you are going to know whether it's a good deal or not. So I want to have, I refer to them as grizzled veterans. I want to have somebody who's been around the business for a while, does a lot of deals as an agent, and I can tell them exactly the kind of property that I'm looking for. And I usually simplify it with, hey, look, I want the kind of property that you would cringe at thinking about taking a listing on because you'd be embarrassed for any of your clients to see it. That's exactly probably the property that I want to make a bid on. And the other thing, and this is really crucial in dealing with an experienced real estate agent, is to let them know you have the ability to close. Don't skirt around that money issue at all. Let them know right up front, hey, I got a great relationship with a hard money lender. I can go up to X number. I can go to 175. I can go to 350 or whatever. And that money's there. I'm already approved for that. Because the biggest thing that a real estate agent has is their time, just like you and I as investors. And the reason a lot of them don't want to work with investors is they have investors that waste their time and don't remotely talk about the word wholesale to a real estate agent. They'll cut you off at the knees, and I don't blame them. They want to know that you've got the ability to perform. They're going to perform in finding the property. They want to make sure that you can perform in being able to close. And as long as those two things are happening, because you wouldn't hesitate to cut an agent off if they're not bringing you anything decent. Same thing for the agent. They're going to cut you off if you can't perform.
Yeah.
So that money thing comes back, and huge part of your team is your real estate agent.
You need to put yourself in their shoes. And as a real estate professional and dealing with real estate professionals the way Bill is, he has an agency as well himself. These people are spending their time. They do not get paid an hourly wage to go out and find you this information, to sit down and put the MLS tickler together. It takes time for them to do this, and they're putting out their effort. If you're not performing on your end and they're wasting their time, they're exactly in that situation. They're wasting their time. They're not making any money. They could go home and watch television and make exactly the same amount of money that they're making from you and be having a better time doing it. So you have to put yourself in their position, appreciate the work that they do, and reward them by giving them some guidance. If they're bringing you the wrong types of properties, but you can tell that they're on the right track, let them know, give them that guidance. When they bring you that property, close quick, thank them. Give them all the praise in the world, because guess what? That will be the person who brings you your next deal and your next deal and your next deal as well. But remember, we are not in this alone. We have a team, and we have to take care of the people who are on our team. And that means not wasting their time.
And I would say throw all the business you possibly can to, if you find an agent that you like, give them as much of your business. I suggest you give them all your business so that you become an important piece of their business.
And that includes referrals.
The average person out there, the average person is going to buy a house every 5 years, roughly, statistics say. And most of the time, they're not going to use the person that they used the last time. And that's just kind of the way the business is. So what you want to look at is developing that relationship and letting them know, hey, I'm here on a regular basis. I can be somebody that week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, is putting food on your table and feeding your kids and paying for college and all that good stuff, and be important to their business.
Right. And if they're bringing you more deals than you can handle, even better, because you can partner up with other people on those deals. Like I said, make sure you take care of them. Any other final points as we start wrapping up this last segment of this show?
Well, on the property manager, I want to make sure that I've got somebody that has great references that I can go back and talk to, whether it's from the real estate agent or whether it's from a contractor. The same thing for any of our subs. If you're asking a contractor for a referral, understand that what they look at is, I'm taking a risk when I refer this person to you, Bill, because I'm getting paid by you. If the person that I refer doesn't do a good job, you're not going to like that person, but you might hold it against me too. So they're going to make sure that if they've got a great referral, that's what they're going to give you. And a lot of times they'll just flat tell you, I don't have anybody good in that particular area. Retaining walls. I've had a guy tell me, he's like, man, I know a gazillion people. I don't know anybody that I'm comfortable with referring on a retaining wall. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate that.
Right. And sometimes when you're in a situation like that, especially in a market that is outside of where you are familiar with, it is best to go with, there are companies that franchise everything. And sometimes it is best to go with that company that is a well-known franchise, just because if they screw up, they've got the insurance and everything else to back it up, because they have to have that in order to have a franchise. You may pay a little bit more, but it's better than going in blind in a market that you're not familiar with. So look for those big names that you recognize and those track records that are a national track record, even though they're franchised out locally. That probably does it for both of us here, Bill. We flew through this show quicker than I thought we were going to. Thank you for joining us on the Investor Guys podcast. If you guys don't know this already, you can find us every day now on Facebook Live at noon Eastern Standard Time. We are there broadcasting, and join us there. We will try to hit as many of those live as we can, but you can find us there. I think Bill froze up. Maybe he is already packing his bags and taking off for his next event. No? Okay. Your picture's frozen up. You got this big old grin on your face.
So it is, thanks for everybody being here. It's a pleasure for us to be able to have the podcast and have you join us. And Kevin, when they go to the Facebook page, they're just going to go to Investor Guys Podcast, right?
At Investor Guys Podcast on Facebook. And I'm actually putting on a couple of other pages up there too. So if you're getting references from any other page, like my own pages as well, in fact, I have it on my profile page, just catch us there. If you have any more questions about our upcoming event in Cleveland, you can go to investorguyspodcast.com. Lots and lots of information. We're going to be adding more and more resources to that event as we get there. It's already slam packed. It's going to be 4 days of information and fun, and it will be 4 days that you will never forget. Thank you for joining us on the Investor Guys Podcast, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow.
See you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to the Investor Guys Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and stay updated on the latest trends and insights in the world of real estate investing. Also, don't forget to check us out and see all of our episodes at theinvestorguyspodcast.com. Email us, contact@investorguyspodcast.com. Remember, the key to financial success lies in staying informed and taking action. Stay tuned for our next episode, and until then, happy investing.